All right, welcome back, guys. Today we are on a mission to build two beginner Magic the Gathering decks to teach some new players how to play. So, um, first thing I did was I went on eBay and I bought a whole box, 4,000 commons for $40. And I thought, oh, surely I can make two 40 card decks, 40 card singleton decks, which is the goal here, of these 4,000 cards that I found on eBay. So I dumped them out on my bed, all right, just dumped them all over the bed, all right, and I went through all the cards. Um, I made two separate stacks, really. One was all modern border, and the other was old school border, because I wanted to make these decks with the most basic cards possible. So I chose to do old school style cards. All the old borders from 93 to 2003, I put in one pile, and all the modern borders, I just pushed those off to the side. So here's an image of all of the old school borders that I got, um, and these piles were separated into um, their uh, their correct colors here. So um, as you can see, there's quite a few cards here, but even with these piles of cards, I was not able to make two 40 card singleton decks. There was a lot of duplicates and a lot of cards that were just not good and weren't going to work for what I wanted to do. So I did have some cards in my bulk that I can add to this. So I added some cards from my bulk. I took some cards from these piles here from the 4,000 cards. Not very many though, surprisingly. But the next thing I did, because I still needed more cards, I went to the local card shop, local game store, whatever you want to call it. Serenity Hobbies in Norwich, New York. If you saw the previous video on this, I'll put a link down below. But I did a whole tour of Serenity Hobbies. Um, it's a great card shop in Norwich, New York. And so here's a video clip of me going back, and these are the cards I got from the binders there. They have a whole wall full of binders. And these are the cards that I went through the binders and got for these decks to kind of round them out and make them fun and playable. So let's check that out. All right, so now we have all the cards for the deck, and I'm going to go through each deck. First, we're going to go through each of these here. We have a red and blue, or a red and green aggro deck, a blue and white control deck. All right, so we're going to go through both of these decks. I'll go through the blue and white one, and then we'll go through the red and green deck here, and we'll just go through and I'm going to do kind of explain why I chose each card. And then after that, we're going to go into our demo game. So we actually got to play a practice game where I was teaching my daughter how to play Magic the Gathering. And you'll be able to see the complete game. It's going to be in the next video because otherwise this video is going to go super long. So I'll put a link up here after we do the deck tech, and also it'll be at the end of the video. There will be a link directly to that video to watch the actual match between these two decks, and it's actually going to be pretty insane how close and balanced these are. So if you want to learn how to make a fun 40 card singleton deck to teach your friends and family how to play Magic the Gathering, here is the 2 decks that I completed. Let's check them out.
All right, let's go through the blue cards on this deck, starting with Counterspell. I think there's obvious reasons we chose Counterspell for this deck, but pay 2 blue, you can counter target spell. Pretty basic card. This one's actually not a very good card, but it's in this beginner learning deck. I like to put some cards in there that are just inherently bad, so that when they're learning the game, you know, they'll be able to tell between what cards are actually good and what cards are actually bad. This card is basically a bad card, but it's also, it does do something. So you're going to put it on the opponent's land. It's an enchant land, and when they tap that land, they're going to take 2 damage. So in a singleton format where you're playing with only 20 life, 2 damage is 10%. So it's not very bad, but it's bad enough. Mahamoti Jin. This is a really good card. If you can get it out on the board, it's a 5/6 with flying. And if your opponent doesn't have flying in 4 attacks, they're done. Prodigal Sorcerer. Of course, this one's a great card for picking off little creatures. If possible, if they have a 1/1, you can kill it on sight, or just do 1 damage to them, which is 5% of their life total. It could win you the game, basically. But inherently not a great card, but for a beginner with a deck where they're learning to play, it's not bad. Zephyr Falcon. This is a pretty good card. It's 1 and a blue. It's a 1/1 with flying, and attacking does not cause Zephyr Falcon to tap. So it has vigilance. That's just the old wording for it. But good card because you can attack and also have a blocker available. So that's always good. Merfolk of the Pearl Trident. This is inherently a very basic, the most basic creature you can get. It's a 1-drop for a 1/1 vanilla creature, no keywords. So it's just a creature to put out there. This is more of a control deck, so the creatures don't matter too much, but you want to have some out there early on in the game so that you can do some damage, or maybe just have some blockers. We got Benalish Hero. This one is a 1 for 1/1 with banding. So banding is a good keyword for kind of a low power beginner deck, because this is going to let you band together with creatures, and in that case you get to decide how the damage is distributed when blocking. So we will put that in there. This is a rare. It's actually a 2/1 for 1, which is probably the best 1-drop vanilla creature you can play. It's a Savannah Lions, and it's total classic, so we had to put that in there. Pearled Unicorn. Here's another basic creature. It's just a 2/2. That's all. It's a 2/2 for 2 and a white. Not inherently good, but the artwork is pretty awesome. Now, our other big creature we have here is a Serra Angel. Now, the Serra Angel is a 4/4 flying with vigilance. Can't really go wrong with a Serra Angel. Kismet, here we go. We're starting our control cards here. We have a Kismet. This one, basically, artifacts, creatures, and lands your opponents play are going to come in tapped. That's usually going to make them pretty annoyed, but it's good control. Another control card here, Disenchant. You can destroy target artifact or enchantment. And we're playing 40 card singleton, so that means that they're not going to have a lot of artifacts. They're going to run out pretty soon. Balance. This card is a game changer right here. This is actually banned in Commander for good reasons. So each player sacrifices enough lands to equalize the number of lands all players control. The player who controls the fewest lands cannot sacrifice any in this way. All players then equalize cards in hand and then creatures in play. So with this being a control deck, you're basically gonna, if your opponent, which is gonna be the red and green player, the aggro player with lots of creatures, has a bunch of creatures out, you're going to play balance, get rid of all their creatures, and cast something big like a Mohamodi Djinn or a Serra Angel. And then you also have this Island Sanctuary, where this is an enchantment, where during your draw phase, you may draw one less card from your library. If you do so, until start of your next turn, the only creatures that can attack you are those with flying and island walk. So since we have some big flyers in here, and our opponent, which is the red and green, doesn't have a lot of flyers, we're going to make it so it's going to be difficult for them to attack. We also have Circle of Protection Red, because they are playing red with a Fireball, a Shivan Dragon, and some other red damage that you might want to get rid of. So we have Circle Protection Red for that. All right, and then we have a Righteousness. This is a great card for blockers. When they attack you with a big stompy creature, you can pay 1 white at instant speed, and any of your blocking creatures gets +7/+7. That should take care of any of those guys. Another pump spell here. We got a enchant creature. This is Blessing. You pay 1 white to target creature. Blessing enchants gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So it's like fire breathing for white, except it's +1/+1, not +1/+0. So it's even better. Now, what happens if you lose one of your significant creatures, like a Serra Angel or a Djinn? You got Resurrection here. You can just take that creature from your graveyard, put it directly into play. Good to go. Oh, they have a creature that's really causing a problem. 1 white, and you can exile it from the game. Swords to Plowshares, classic card. Back to the blue cards. Rush of Knowledge. This one, actually, I wanted it to be a Brain Geyser, but I didn't have one at the time I built this deck. I do have one, but it's not in this deck. So we have Rush of Knowledge, which is one of the only non-old school cards. This is a pre-modern card, but it's pretty good. Pretty good if you have a big creature or a 4-drop artifact, you're going to draw 4 or more cards, so it's a pretty good card. We have a blue Elemental Blast, because they are playing red, and we can counter a Fireball or something like that. So that's a good card. Drain Power. So this is a sorcery, and you can only cast it on your turn, so if they do have untapped lands, you'll be able to tap all of those lands, put that mana into your mana pool, and hopefully cast something big like your Djinn or your Serra Angel, hopefully. We got a Sunken City. This has an upkeep, alright? But Sunken City says all blue creatures get +1/+1. During your upkeep, pay 2 or destroy Sunken City. Doesn't sound inherently good, but if you have a bunch of 1/1s out, or a couple of 1/1 creatures, and your Djinn, and you're getting +1s on those, you could do some damage. Remember, you're only playing with 20 life with these 40-card decks. Here's another one, Gaseous Form. Not inherently good, but damage done to target creature by creatures it blocks or that block it is reduced to 0. Creatures deal no damage during combat. So this is an enchant creature you can put on your opponent's creature. Let's say they have a big 6/4 Crawl Worm or a 5/5 Shivan Dragon. You put this enchant creature on there, and then their creature is not going to do any damage, so it's basically useless. Now the artifacts. We have an Icy Manipulator. This is very good in old school control decks. You can tap any land, creature, or artifact in play on either side. So it's a 4-drop, but you only need to pay 1 to tap that card. And I just spit on my Icy Manipulator. All right, another really good card in old school format, Jayamde Tome. And this goes good with the, what was the white card that I had here? The Island Sanctuary. Here we go. Let's look at this. So you have Island Sanctuary, which you skip your draw step. You don't skip your draw step, but you draw 1 less card. So basically you're skipping your draw step. And then with the Jayamde Tome, you can still draw a card. So you're preventing them from attacking with their land creatures, and you're able to still draw a card. So that's good. And then this is the only special land in the deck. It's a Mishra's Factory, which I gave both decks a Mishra's Factory just because it's a good mechanic, and it teaches kind of the ability for cards to transform. So this one, when you pay 1, it turns into an artifact factory worker, and it's a 2/2 creature, 2/2 artifact creature until end of turn. So it's a land, becomes an artifact creature, and then becomes a land again. It also taps for 1 mana, so it's pretty good. All right, so that's the blue and white control deck. I think it's pretty fun. So let's check out the red and green deck. All right, we'll start out with none other than the Shivan Dragon. This is really like the centerpiece of this deck. Shivan Dragon, such a good card. It's a 5/5 with flying, and you pay 1 red to give it +1/+0 until end of turn. Pretty cool. So put that there. We have Earth Elemental. It costs 3 and 2 red. It's just a vanilla 4/5. Another big baddie to stomp over on your opponent. Here's another big one, Fire Elemental, Earth Elemental's big sister. Another 3 and 2 red, so another 5-drop for a 5/4. Then we got Uthden Troll, Oi Oi, 2 and a red for a 2/2 with regeneration. Regeneration, very good when they're trying to get rid of all of your creatures. We can hold on to the Uthden Troll unless it's exiled by Swords to Plowshares. Then we got one of our win cons here, Fireball. We want to do that lethal damage with the Fireball, so hopefully we can do that. And Mana Flare is a card that's going to help us out. We don't want to put Mana Flare out just willy-nilly, because that's going to give the blue and white player way too much power. We don't need to give them any more mana, because their cards are already pretty powerful. So we do want to keep this when we have a chance to play our Fireball, and it's going to double our mana. We have Lightning Bolt for getting rid of those pesky creatures that our opponent's playing. You can also kill a Mishra's Factory and any of their little 1/1s or 2/2 creatures out there. Pyrotechnics, another good one to get rid of their little 1/1 creatures. This does 4 damage divided any way you choose among any number of target creatures or players. So basically you can, if they have a couple of 1/1s and a 2/2 or something like that, you can get rid of all 3 of them with this one card. Fire Breathing. This is the same effect that the Shivan Dragon has, but this is an enchant creature. You can put it on any creature, so any creature you have out now has Fire Breathing. Very good. Stone Rain, get rid of that blue and white player's lands. They don't need it. You can also get rid of their Mishra's Factory with this one. Shatter, yes, get rid of those artifacts. They don't need an Icy Manipulator. They don't need a Jayamte Tome. Or you can kill their Mishra's Factory with this one. So lots of answers for that factory here. Here we go into the green creatures. We have a Cockatrice. This is a 2/4 flying, so it's going to help if they have that Island Sanctuary out. You have this 2/4 flyer. It also destroys any creature that it blocks or blocking it. So any of their flyers, the Mohamodi Jinn, the Sarah Angel, if they come flying at you, you're going to kill it if you block it. Doesn't matter how much damage you do, it's dead. And even if they put the Gaseous Form on this one, it's going to do 0 damage, but it's still going to destroy any creature blocking or blocked by it. So pretty good ability. We have this big bad boy, 6-drop for a 6/4 vanilla Crow Worm. So pretty good amount of damage on that one. Urnam Jinn, this one's really good. 3 and a green for a 4/5, but during your upkeep, you have to give one of their creatures Forest Walk. So hopefully, if it's a flying creature and you don't have flying, it won't matter. Or if it's a little creature, it's not going to matter too much either, because either they're going to block this or take 4 damage each turn. So pretty bad. Ironroot Treefolk. This one's in here just because it's inherently a bad creature. I mean, it can block 5, but that really isn't going to do much in this deck. And it costs 5 for a 3/5. Really not a good card. But it's in here just because this is a classic, one of the original creatures from Alpha, and it's basically not that good. Giant Spider. This is another good answer for all the flyers that the blue and white player has. It has reach, basically. In the old wording here, it says it can block creatures with flying. It's a 2/4 for 4. It's a Giant Spider. Come on now. It's a pretty good card. Grizzly Bear, 2 for a 2/2. Not inherently good, but quick to get out on the battlefield and do some early damage. So it's a good card. We got a Marsh Viper. Now this one is really cool. It's one of my favorite, I guess you would say low power, underused cards. It costs 4, which is quite a bit, and it's only a 1/2. But if Marsh Viper damages a player, he or she gets 2 poison counters. So this is one of the first poison counter cards, I think. And if a player has 10 or more poison counters, he or she loses the game. So it only takes 5 attacks with this little Marsh Viper. Does 5 damage, but 10 poison counters and you're dead. Another little 1/1 for 1 mana. It's a 1/1 flyer, Scrib Sprites. So you can also use this to get over that Island Sanctuary and also block some of those big flyers. And here's a Tranquility. Get rid of that Kismet, Island Sanctuary, whatever other enchantments they have, you can get rid of it with this Tranquility. So it's a good card to have in this deck. And a Giant Growth to do that extra lethal damage to take your opponent out. Giant Growth's a good one, either to save your creature or to do that lethal damage. Then we got some ramp here. Llanowar Elves, you can tap it for 1 green. Classic ramp. Untamed Wilds, another one. This one lets you look for through your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield. And then reshuffle, and it goes on the battlefield untapped. So really good ramp with that one. And then one of my other favorite old school ramp cards, Wild Growth. Wild Growth is an enchant land, so you put this on any of your lands and it taps for an additional green. So pretty cool. And then we have our artifacts. We have a big bad Juggernaut, 4 for a 5/3 artifact creature, and it must attack each turn if possible. Okay, can't be blocked by walls. Nobody's playing any walls, but it does have to attack each turn. So even if they have a blocker that will kill it, you still have to attack and let it die. Oh, and then one of my favorites, Glasses of Urza. So you can use this artifact to look at your opponent's hand and see if they have any counter spells. If they have a counter spell, you could probably, try to bait out their counter spell before you cast what you really want to cast. Like say you want to get that Tranquility out, but they have a counter spell. So you can try to cast a big creature or something else that looks threatening, and maybe they'll counter that instead. And then you can cast your Tranquility, get rid of their annoying enchantments, and yeah, good strategy. And of course they have the Mishra's Factory. So each player has this Mishra's Factory, and you know what? We'll see how it plays out. So we're going to go into the practice game. It's going to be in the next video, so make sure you click this little tab up here on the top. That'll take you to that video, or it's also going to be in the ending credits here. So thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Adios.